What's up guys, it's Kyle here. Got another tutorial for you today. I saw in the comments the other day, someone was looking for the D23 trailer text for Star Wars and wondering how to do that. So I thought we'd give it a shot and show off some of the things that we can do in Fusion. For starters, the first thing you want to do is just get a clip of whatever you want. I use OBS to screen record. You can use any number of things, but I prefer OBS. I use it for streaming and other things, so it's just really handy to have. And the benefit of having a clip is not only have something to reference, but then you can scrub through it, frame by frame. So what I can see is we got some 3D text going on. There's some light, there's a little bit of shadowing, and right toward the end, you can see these letters begin to turn and a shadow come down. So one thing I do know, since we have 3D text in here, we're going to want to hit Control Space, and we're going to want to add in some 3D nodes. Merge will be easier. 3D and merge, because we're going to merge things together. We're going to want a 3D text. And whenever we're doing anything with 3D, we want to be able to render it. So that's good. We got all our stuff line, and it's already hooked up the way it should be. Also going to add in this directional light. We want a little bit of lighting to go on there. And that will go straight into our merge 3D. All right, before I get too far, I need to add in a background. Forgot to do that at the beginning. That's just always a good thing to do at the beginning. I'll just merge it in. It helps size everything, keep everything consistent. So put it there. We'll bring it up on the viewer here. I don't have any text yet, so let's add in some text. First thing I notice is it's huge. So we're going to just go over here and resize it. Bring it down. And the next thing we want to do, we want to find a text that matches. So I'm just going to go down and I'm going to look for something that matches. And I think what I found was this trebuchet matches pretty well. It's not an exact match, but it's pretty close. So we're going to go with that. And the other nice thing about having a clip is we can just grab this dropper, click and drag, and we can match the color. Now it won't be a perfect match because we got shadowing going on, and looks like they might have some type of material on these letters, but it'll get pretty close. And the next thing we can do is we can take this node and we just merge it right in. And then click on this merge, and we're going to bring the blend down to about 50%. This will help us get our text into position and match the size. One thing I'm going to do, I'm going to change the color real quick. So let's change the color just so I can see a difference. I'm going to bring the size down a little more. Now, if you're having trouble with the size, one thing you can do is you can bring it down close and you can go over this transform, and down under size, you can adjust the X and Y separately. And then you got spacing here, so you can mess around with the spacing until we kind of get the letters about where we want them. Okay, that looks good. I'm going to disconnect that input, and I'm going to turn this blend back all the way up. It's 3D text, so we're going to have to make it 3D. We don't actually have 3D text yet. So if we bring this up, you'll notice we have 2D text. There's no thickness there. So while we have the text node selected, we're just going to go over here down to this thing. And I don't know why it's not labeled. It should be labeled as extrusion. It's not. We're just going to open it and we're going to give it some depth. And I'm just going to go with 0.1. Some nice text there. So the next thing we need to do is we need to add some shadows and add some turning. So what I like to do with shadows, and this is a little bit of a cheat, but it gets the job done. I'm just going to add in a background with a mask. See it made it disappear. I'm just going to move this to a spot, and I can tell from this clip there's a little bit of a shadow across the T. So I'm just going to rotate this rectangle, move it down close. Now it's too sharp, so what we can do is we just do a soft edge And we can mess with this border till we get something we like. That looks pretty good. And I'm just going to duplicate that because there looks like there's some shadowing going up top too. So just add that in. I'm going to take this duplicate and I'm going to just move it over top just a little bit. Make it a little bit harder shadow. All right, so that's looking pretty good. So the next thing we need to do is have the letters turn just like they do towards the end. So in order to do that, let's find where it's turning first. So it looks like around frame 50. So I want frame 50. And what we do on this text, this is a neat little thing. If you go over here and you right click, you can go down and add this thing called a follower. And this will add an animation for turning the text. Go up to this modifier, which is now active. Go to modifier, and here we have timing. All characters, we have left to right, right to left. I'm going to start left to right and try and have that T turn first because it looks like it's starting over there. They kind of all turn together, and I think if you do none, it should work, but I haven't gotten this delay for all of them to turn at the exact same time. So I'm not really sure if that's a bug or what's going on. So we'll go over to this transform. What we want is rotation. And one thing to note here is if you don't check and make a keyframe, none of these things will work. I messed around a lot with that. Show you right here, nothing, absolutely nothing. But if I check this keyframe first, look at that. So right there, I want the turning to start. And then let's go till it's about gone. So that is my next keyframe. So let's go to this light. So this light isn't actually doing anything right yet. We'll want to put the merge in the viewer and just have that light selected. We know there's shadow over on the left side, so we want to move this over to the right and just kind of have it shining. I'm going to go over to the transform. Let's get some light shining. And one thing you do need to do is you need to go to this render and just make sure you have this lighting and shadows enabled. Otherwise it's not going to do anything. And I don't know if you can tell, but light on, light off, you can see that it's adding some lighting and shadows. So that's what we want. All right, well, it's a little bit darker than what we want, so we might actually just change this color. Just go full white. And that looks a little bit better. One last thing we need to do is, if you notice on here, grows slightly as we go through it. So we want to add in some keyframes to just make it a little bit larger. I'm just going to do that on the text. I'm going to keyframe that at 0. I'm going to take it to the end and just grow it ever so slightly. So that's matching up pretty well. If you're finding any value in this video, please feel free to hit that subscribe button and ring that bell. Last thing we want to add in is kind of this fade out with the shadow. You can see it come down right at the end. That's what I'm going to use this extra one for. So I'm going to put it there. I'm going to add in this keyframe, and towards the end, I'm just going to fade it out. And we're pretty much there. So if you want to mess around with those parameters some more, add in some extra lighting, add in more shadows, whatever you want to do, turn it a little bit faster, that'll get you set, and you can do that Star Wars text from the D23 trailer.